Hello, good afternoon, this is Diecast Loon. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to that episode of Vintage Matchbox Mondays, episode 50, I believe, of Vintage Matchbox Mondays. And this week's episode is going to be fairly interesting, some fairly cool pieces to look at. I didn't go to my usual favourite place, my favourite little vintage diecast shop this week, because he hasn't been in there for the last couple of days. I don't think anything's wrong. I just think he's taken a few days out, as he is recovering from his illness that he's not long had. So he's well deserves some rest. So anyway, I went into a different shop, which isn't very far from where I usually go. I've only ever walked past it. I've never actually looked in there. And again, it's like a bit of a weird sort of. They sell vintage signs, like vintage enamel signs, and I've seen vintage fuel pumps in there. I've seen all sorts of strange bits and bobs. So I thought I'd have a look in there. And when I went in there today, I come across some very cool models of Days Gone. Models of Days Gone. So I picked up 3 from there. Now, I don't usually pick up the models of Days Gone. I've got some in the collection, but like I said, it's not usually what I go after, but these were just too cheap and too well made to not pick a few up. And then obviously I came across some normal vintage Matchbox, again very, very cheap. So that is what we're going to be looking at. So anyway, before we get into it, so a little bit of history on the models that are called. So we'll take a look at the first one. So I think we'll take a look at this one. So it is a police car of some sort. So there you go, Days Gone, and it's got on the front, let's have a look, for ages 8 and over. And as you can see, it says copyright 1983, lledo, London Limited. Now, the guy, the founder and the designer, the chief designer of the Matchbox car, which was his actual name was John Williams Odell, OBE. He was the founder and main designer of Matchbox, along with Leslie Smith and Rodney Smith, and they obviously came up with the company Lesney, which we're all familiar with. But at some point, and this is where my knowledge, I haven't really brushed up on it, but at some point Jack Odell decided to form lledo, which is Odell backwards, I believe, as lledo. I believe lledo is his call sign, funnily enough, back in the war days, or at least that's what I've heard. But anyway, he is the one, and he carried on, from what I can gather, making lledo models, or at least lledo went on for quite a while. And as I've said before, some of the lledo stuff is a bit like some of the Matchbox, I think they're, I can't remember what they're called now. What are they called again? Models of yesteryear, sorry. Brain switched off. They were never, I don't think they were very nicely made, but they were aimed at a certain age bracket, and they were of a certain type. And I think a lot of people, for that reason, didn't really get into them, and that's why today you can find pieces like this for such good prices, and that's a good thing for us collectors, but they are very nicely made. So anyway, a little bit less of the gabble, so I'm just trying to figure out what car this is, as it doesn't say immediately, but I hesitate to expect it is a Ford. So anyway, let's open it up if we can. And so these are pretty much 40 years old. So you have got these little figures. So it looks like we've got a policeman possibly in the sat down position that obviously can fit in the car. And then we've got what looks like a couple of robbers. So that's pretty cool. And then here is the car itself, and again, it's not, like I said, it's not really detailed, but then again, it's not badly made. It has got a plastic screen and plastic lights on the front. It has got some like hard rubberized tyres. But there we go. Days Gone. Made in England by lledo. But like I said, I think this is pretty cool. It sort of reminds me of that sort of Laurel and Hardy type thing, even though it's not, but it's from that sort of same sort of era, from the late sort of 20s, early 30s. So that is pretty cool. Well, like I said, fairly basic casting, but again, pretty cool. And I only paid £2 a pop, so these aren't expensive. So I may keep them in the collection. I may give them away at some point. I don't know. This was particularly cool. So you can see it's again made in England. This is a 1939 Ford fire engine, USA AF, and it's like some of the information of the range. But again, this is a similar age as far as I'm aware of. I'm just having a little scan about. You can always fast forward through this bit. It's a bit boring, but anyways, let's get the vehicle out. I know Jim from Red Trucks. Shout out to Red Trucks, awesome channel. I know he'll probably like this, as he likes his fire engines, as we all know. But this is immediately, now this is a weighty piece. So there you go, US Army Air Force on the side. But it is, again, this is really nicely quite done. Plastic bumpers and all in the front again, no glass, but it is very weighty. Got double wheels. Excuse me. Made in England. Days Gone, but they are mint. That is really weighty. And I said it. I don't, the actual fact, these are very nice. I actually quite like them. I've got some vintage trucks in my collection, so they may go into that. But there we go. So like I said, very nice. The ladders do come off. I'm not going to take them off, but they do pop off. So very cool. So let's just pop that to one side, and then the last piece, which was the first piece I zoned in on, and that's this one. So there we go, Days Gone. And again, I'm not sure. All the guy said to me is that they were all from the same era. I'm just doing a little scout about if I can. Bear with me. No, nothing immediately jumps out, but they are all from that sort of era. But like you said, he said they came from a collector that very, very nicely looked after the boxes and the contents. Now this again is a 1935 Ford petrol tanker. It's very nice. So there we go. So that's the side. Again, quite weighty, highly flammable, and I think if I push it forwards and lift, so there is the trailer, dual wheels on the back. So again, not massively detailed, excuse me, but there it is. There's the fifth wheel, which looks very much like the fifth wheel design out of the old Super Kings. You've got like a little checkered bit there, you can see the fuel tanks. But again, not a bad, and quite weighty, and it has interior. Not that you can see it because my light is, but you can see it's got a seat, you can see it's got a legible steering wheel, it's not a plastic lump, it's just, but no glass, but pretty cool. So let's zoom out a little bit. So that was the lledo trucks, and like I said, I don't usually go for these because a lot of the time these lledo trucks, they did a lot of sign written vehicles, and they did the same vehicle over and over and over and over and over, and that gets a little, and I can see why that can get a bit boring, but these are different. These are different subject matters, and like I said, they are quite nicely done. So that was very good. Now this was an awesome buy. Excuse me. So as you can see, this is a Matchbox, obviously 1938, brain switched off again, 38, number 38, Model A van. Now again, these are, if you're going to ever go after collecting all of these, you'll be there for a long time, because these were made right from about 78, 79, right up to, I'd say, at least the late 90s, possibly even early 2000s. I can't remember, but I know they made these for a lot of years, and they made them in multiples of all different sorts. And I've got at least 4 of these in my collection. I've got a butcher's truck, I've got some sweet trucks, all very nice, but this is probably the best one I've come across, as it has a really nice condition box. The other ones are all from the Macau years. This is an original Lesney one, so this would have been right at the end. So we can see there it says Matchbox, Combat Trademark, England. Excuse me for sniffing. There we go. Like I said, box is in nice condition, and the truck is mint. But as soon as I've seen it, excuse me, my allergies are playing up, even though it is the winter time now nearly. But yeah, champion spark plugs, and I just thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. Lovely crisp white roof, no fade, seen no daylight. The chrome is nice. 9 times out of 10 the chrome's slightly gone on these, or this is slightly yellowed, or what have you. And but because it was boxed, and the box was mint, and the truck is mint, I thought, yes, I will have that. And again, this wasn't expensive, £6. If I can get to see, there you go. Matchbox super fast, Model A van, made in England, Lesney Products, Co. 1979, I believe. So very cool. And if you just bear with me for 2 seconds, just bear with me. I'm back. So I wasn't going to pull out all the other variations I've got. Like I said, I've got about 3 or 4. I think I've got 4. So this would be my 5th one. But this is what I was saying. This is a more modern example, but identical. I think it says Dewhurst, your master butchers. But very cool. There you go. Made in, let's have a look, can't quite catch that, Thailand, possibly. A bit of reflection, but like I said, the other one I got is yellow, and it's obviously got sherbet dib dabs, or whatever they are on the side. Bassett sherbet dib dabs, I think. And like I said, you either love them, these are like a Mite thing, you either love them or you don't. I quite like old Fords, but so anyway, that is today's video. And like I said, I was quite happy. I like coming across old vehicles at good prices in mint condition. That is what I've got. That was the star of the show for me today, as I do like that is my era, as in I like the, you know, sort of later 70s Matchbox. But anyway, with that, please like, share, subscribe, stay tuned for more vintage Matchbox episodes to come. Please check out my friends in the comments. If you watch this video, have a look at some of the other YouTubers in the comments. Check out their channels. There's a lot to pick from, some really good channels out there. Give them some support, and with that, I'll see you all very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.